The new James Bond movie, No Time to Die, is out now? Well, that means I gotta watch another Bond movie, I guess. I'm just kidding. I don't need an excuse to watch a Bond flick. The 1965 James Bond adventure Thunderball was quite the headache to get to the screen. Based on the 1961 novel, it was originally going to be the first Bond movie, but there was some legal troubles when Ian Fleming was sued by screenwriters Jack Whittingham and Kevin McClory, saying his book was based on their screenplay that they wrote for a movie version of Bond. With the lawsuit being settled out of court, McClory got certain rights to the story, with producer credit, making Albert Broccoli and Harry Saltzman executive producers, and this eventually led to the Warner Brothers version of Thunderball, the 1983 movie Never Say Never Again, which McClory executive produced. With the major success of the first three movies, the budget for Thunderball was more than the budgets of those three movies combined. Guy Hamilton declined an offer to return as director since he was a bit burnt out from Goldfinger, so Terrence Young, having directed Dr. No and From Russia with Love, was brought back. The movie was the last time he directed a Bond film, but the movie has many firsts. It was the first Bond movie to be in widescreen Panavision, the first to be released in the US before the UK. So US audiences got two Bond movies that year, since Goldfinger was released in January of '65 in the States. Also, it's the first time the Bond actor was used in the opening barrel shot, and the first time the dot reveals the opening scene. It's also the first Bond movie that doesn't feature him smoking, so he might be a little cranky in this film. He smokes again in later movies. It's a good thing it opens with Bond getting back to church to confess all of his sins from the previous movies. Funerals are always a very sad place for Bond.
At least you've been saved the effort of removing him. Colonel Bouvard passed away in his sleep, so they tell me.
He can't even muster up a "we have all the time in the world." Clearly, this will be a standalone scene where Bond chows down on some casseroles delivered after the funeral after paying his respects.
My dear Colonel Bouvard.
Again, he's a bit grumpy because he needs a cigarette. Wait, the man in the casket isn't dead at all, but he will die of a broken heart from destroying all of the fine china. Sure, he gets strangled with a poker, but Bond is still respectful. Wait till he sees the card. And there we have the origin story for the Rocketeer. And yes, that is a real jetpack being used, which is flown by Bill Suter, who was only one of two people qualified to use it. There's more returning characters too, like the Aston Martin from Goldfinger, which has been modified to piss on its enemies. It's the perfect dissolve into the opening like a golden shower. Not to mention another classic Bond theme.
My scrotum is cracked and it burns like thunderbolts.
It was even a headache getting the title song for the movie. The original song was called Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, recorded by Shirley Bassey, but it was too short. Dionne Warwick even recorded a version, which wasn't released until the 90s. When there were concerns over the title song not having the title in it, a new song was written titled Thunderball and was sung by Tom Jones, who supposedly fainted when hitting the last note. You can tell here the writer McClory had a fascination with diving, as this movie has more underwater scenes than Moonraker has space. Here we're introduced to Bond villain Emilio Largo.
Hey, no parking here!
Oh, sorry, Mr. Eye Patch. Continue on being a villain. In the book, Largo doesn't have an eye patch, but instead had big hands and a big head. Clearly, he was a villain on DK mode. We have been waiting here for 3 days for you so Blofeld could give his villain speech. We are starving. Not sure what Blofeld looks like at this point, but I have the feeling it's something like this. SPECTRE has very strict rules against embezzlement, as you can see. Electrical burns on the ass is going to make it very hard for him to sit for at least a week. Largo's big plan is to hold NATO ransom by stealing 2 atomic bombs, both of which are located in the 00 agent's pants.
She's the only joy in this dreary place.
I see you've discovered that too.
He is gonna bang the hell out of that man's arm. Just an excuse to flirt with Moneypenny.
File it till you get back.
Next time I see you, I'll put you across my knee.
On yogurt and lemon juice?
Time to spank her hard with flapjacks and cover her in maple syrup. Something doesn't seem right in Bond's vacation spa. Could it be Spectre agent Angelo Palazzi altering his face? By God, it worked. No one will suspect Darkman of stealing the bombs. All that shit can wait. He's still got a physical exam to make sure he can play grab-ass.
Behave yourself.
Don't worry, they're one step ahead of him. It's for her safety that Bond gets shackled down to a table.
There now. First time I felt really safe all day.
Damn it, 1960s, stop assaulting the nurses! This machine seems designed to have a villain mess with it. Bond has learned his lesson. He will cut down on grabbing spa employees by 50%. She could have saved him sooner, but then he wouldn't have learned anything.
I must be 6 inches tall.
Yes, but those 6 inches were added to his already enormous dick. I'm sure he won't tell her bosses on her.
Well, you wouldn't tell Dr. Wayne. Please.
Well, I suppose my silence could have a price.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, don't get outraged. He's just taking her back there so they can play Uno together. It'd be great if the whole movie was a series of pranks the agents are pulling on one another while at the spa.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Now, don't you worry. But I'll tell the chef. Let me out of this bloody machine!
That's not even the guy who tried killing him. Bond only did that because that dude stole his parking space. Palazzi has successfully altered his face with the help of Fiona Volpe, and now he looks just like Air Force pilot Francois Derval, which is a composite shot that's not done with doubles. This is a pretty big plan to steal some bombs, when really they could have just hired John Travolta and ejected Christian Slater out of the seat sooner. Surely James Bond hears this commotion.
I'll, shut out the noise.
After their 5th roll in the sack, but wait, those aren't the real Ghostbusters. It's best Bond investigates. They did such a good job of hiding the body, too. Unfortunately for them, he wasn't the Invisible Man and is right there in plain sight. The slasher movie killers outside don't stand a chance against Bond. And if you think he answers the phone in the coolest way ever, you should see him set off the fire alarm. I guess these flying scenes are suspenseful, but they're not as hilarious without Slim Pickens checking off their equipment. Like 1 tube of poison gas. Great, now who's gonna serve drinks? The experts are keeping a close eye on this.
Well, she may have gone down.
Was she in trouble?
Not according to the last scheduled report, which came from about here.
They're talking about the jet, right? And not Bond's physical therapist? Should have known Largo was behind this, because Largo actor Adolfo Celle was dubbed by Robert Riety, who also dubbed Strangways and Dr. No. With the money spent on the underwater landing lights, they're just gonna break even if they get that ransom money. Palazzi has successfully completed his mission in securing the bombs. Unfortunately, he asked for a raise earlier. In other words, he's dead. When we come back, he'll still be dead.
Friday, go the distance.
How far do you go?
Nobody goes better than Sean Connery. Thunderball, parental discretion advised.
Welcome back to the first Bond movie that's over 2 hours long. You can tell by the pivotal loading of the bomb scene. And the damn movie being caught on a net. I'm actually all for these lingering shots. They are gorgeous. The movie is making beautiful use out of its Panavision widescreen. Now for the next important part of the plan. Wiping to the next scene. Anthony Dawson returns as the physical performance of Blofeld, so no matter what happens here, he and Largo would return together in Operation Kid Brother. As for this movie, at its heart, it's really a love story.
Keep in touch.
Anytime, James. Any place.
Another time.
And then they never saw each other again. He's busy being chased by a mad floating arm with a gun. It's a very spiritual film where Bond has a guardian angel. Fiona respects everyone and everything's wishes to be buried under the water. Bond has plenty of time to think of a joke before returning to the office.
You are late.
Yes, some people on the roads really burn you up these days.
I wasn't there, Bond. I don't get your reference. He'll explain it after the meeting.
Well, now that we're all here...
Way to call him out, Dick! It's the first time we see all 00 agents in one room, which means Sean Bean is in there somewhere. They receive the ransom demands from Largo, and those demands get this movie the Best Cinematography Oscar, which it didn't get, but it is the only Bond movie to get a Best Visual Effects Oscar. We should also give a shout out to the set design, too.
This circle represents the full flying range of the Vulcan.
It would have saved us money to just print that on paper, but who am I to question Her Majesty? Bond is focusing on the right part of the mission. Which one could he easily bang? And rub Moneypenny's face in it and piss off the old man.
And I'll thank you not to refer to me as the old man.
I prefer to be called Old Codger. So Bond tracks down Domino, who's Duvall's sister and Largo's mistress. Again, easy to find. She's underwater like everyone else, right near where they're shooting credits for another Bond movie. The original choice for Domino was Julie Christie, but then Faye Dunaway was considered, and also Raquel Welch, who was busy filming Fantastic Voyage. The role went to Claudine Auger, but she was dubbed by Nikki Vanderzil, who also dubbed Ursula Andress in Dr. No. All this espionage is getting in the way of keeping watch for invading pirate ships in the background. Best follow him to get lessons on conch chowder.
You've been reading the wrong books, Mr. Bond.
About conch chowder?
Being an aphrodisiac.
Well, if it's good enough for Bond's dick, it's good enough for mine. Bond is persistent at getting to know Domino.
Will I see you again?
It's a small island.
Perhaps we can have dinner together.
No.
Well, so much for that. He tried. On with the next mission. He doesn't need her to get close to Largo, because where there's a casino...
200.
200 livres banco.
There's always someone Bond villaining. I like where this is going. This is gonna be a buddy movie with Bond and Largo.
Let me take your mistress out for a spin. What are friends for? Come on the dance floor.
It is a little weird they're all dancing to the really moody movie soundtrack. They gotta leave though. He's gotta get his tux back to Peter Lorre's Le Chiffre, who he rented it from. And he's jealous.
You must tell me what Mr. Bond had to say, word for word.
I can still hear you.
One thing I love about Connery's Bond is all the times he's dressed like he's unfortunately being interrupted when on vacation. He does find something though. Found the source for the soundtrack. Good find. This is one of my favorite John Barry scores for the series. Now you may think this is someone from Henchman Delivery Service, but the real bad guy is taking a cold shower. Cause the water's hot, but Bond's punches are ice cold. Felix Leiter has the same facial reconstruction guy as SPECTRE, as he's now played by Rick Van Nutter. The henchman makes the terrible mistake of telling Largo that he failed, and right next to a shark tank. Largo doesn't seem like a Bond villain. This will definitely call for some new gadgets, but Q already gave his shark repellent to Batman. Luckily, there's still waterproof gadgets like a Geiger counter, a camera, a breathing device, and...
Now pay attention. A recently developed harmless ray...
a device to make it sound like you're talking when you weren't. Plus, I've equipped you with a green screen that will severely cut down on your travel expenses, 007. All that extra cash went to making another giant map. Gentlemen, if we used our money on security, the bombs never would have been stolen in the first place. He's either getting ready to perform more underwater scenes, or to perform his stand-up special, James Bond Delirious. Oh, guess it's underwater scenes. He now realizes that these wetsuits are far more comfortable when he's not wearing a tuxedo under them. Spying on Largo's boat is easy too when they're distracted by watching the classic James Bond movie Thunderball. When we come back, they're gonna drop enough grenades in the water to feed their entire staff catfish for months.
Get your 007 secret agent pen and disappearing vapor paper separately or packaged with a 007 secret agent ring and ID bracelet. You'll get a bang out of it. By American Character.
Yes, we're still in the water, and I can't really tell what's going on in some of these scenes, but just know that Bond is badass while doing it. But as bad luck would have it, once he gets out, he is picked up by Fiona. He doesn't know who she is, but he's got the moves.
My outboard capsized, so I had to swim ashore. How far do you go?
Dude, you just met. SPECTRE made a huge mistake of giving themselves away with their not-so-secret rings. And the speeding, too. It's making him very nervous. At least when Tilly Masterson was speeding, he could blow out her tires. Too bad we don't see Bond throwing up in the car. It would ruin his lines.
Some men just don't like to be driven.
No, some men just don't like to be taken for a ride.
Yeah, he's had enough rides for one movie. She's also a dirty thief, too. She's the one who stole Bond's cigarettes. He's been looking all over for those. They've got to be around here somewhere.
Separate pool. For sharks, no less.
Yep, shark pool. Definitely the bad guys are living here. Though he's not a villain if the movie is about their true friendship, where they can talk about chicks, man.
That gun. Looks more fitting for a woman.
You know much about guns, Mr. Bond?
No. I know a little about women.
Women physical therapists have shot at him many times with those. But their bonding does contain one of my favorite Connery Bond moments.
Paul! Seems terribly difficult. No, it isn't, is it?
Nice! Bond is still very nervous, though. Aw, shit. I'm gonna end up in that tank at some point, aren't I? Largo is a much better host than Goldfinger. He wants Bond to take Domino to Mardi Gras. Goldfinger kept Bond in a cell. As for James's partner, Paula, she is having a much worse vacation than Bond. Her getting caught is good news. Bond wants any excuse to sneak around and take out henchmen. He learned that trick from the spa. Sadly, she took a cyanide capsule to kill herself. How can this be? I don't even know if they've slept together yet. This is dangerous. Largo knows Bond's one weakness, and it isn't tarantulas. It's tiles. It goes without saying that Bond is cool, but what I love about Thunderball is that the villain Largo is also really cool too. He was waiting to send sharks in to kill James Bond. While there was a glass barrier between Connery and the sharks, it wasn't a fixed barrier, so it did come loose mere seconds after Connery got out of the water. I do love the sharks, but I don't think I'll miss the fact that this is the last Bond movie to use these wipe effects. There's only one thing more dangerous than sharks in the water.
Aren't you in the wrong room, Mr. Bond?
Not from where I'm standing.
It's a horny James Bond joining you in the tub. Even the screen wipes are getting a rise. Wow, she's powerful. She lifted up the next scene over his head. And she was nice enough to wait until the 12th time they climaxed to betray him.
My dear girl, don't flatter yourself. What I did this evening was for king and country.
He frequently sends graphic pictures to the Queen, even though she's asked him to stop. I do love her line that's like, what did you expect? To sleep with me and then turn me virtuous? Bond definitely got cocky after his penis turned pussy galore good. What they didn't count on was Bond taking advantage of their incompetence. That's why he doesn't smoke in this one. I'm having trouble following the parade scene without DJ Kingfish there to narrate for me.
Farewell to the flesh. Banks of the mighty Mississippi are ready to spill their seed.
Leave the puns to Bond. And I must say, the 00 agents are doing a poor job of blending in, much like SPECTRE with their rings. This leads him right to the Kiss Kiss Club, where he can find the missing theme song from the movie. He'll make someone dance to cover him whether they want to or not.
Oh, you're mad. Do you know that?
Yes, isn't everyone?
And he's the only sober one there, but he gave himself away.
May I cut in? You should have told me your wife was here.
That's pretty funny. The movie has more than one great villain because Fiona is really cool too. Damn it, and I just cursed her by saying I like that character.
One of my friends sits this one out. She's just dead.
Okay, that's pretty funny too. Bond is now on his own. MI6 is still busy trying to figure out how to work their giant TV watch. Stop blowing money, MI6. Oh right, the missing plane. I kind of forgot about that too.
Golden Grotto.
Yeah, all you find down there are sharks.
Okay, well, sharks. I'm sure the plane's down there somewhere. But be careful, this could also be dangerous. Sharks hate the Zombie 2 music. It makes them think zombies are gonna eat them. I'm glad Bond found Palazzi. He's been holding his breath down there for weeks. Just because they're out of the water now doesn't mean the very next scene won't be underwater again. When we come back, I'm sure they'll come up for air just to go back into the water.
Sean Connery stars in Thunderball, the Saturday night movie, tonight on ABC.
Yes, we are back, and yes, Bond found Domino so they can have underwater sex. And he just came! Though when she's stung, this one does touch on Bond's little-known foot fetish.
It's the first time I've tasted women. They're rather good.
Also, he's a cannibal now. Nothing like having sex with her and then sucking her feet to then give her the proof that her brother is dead.
It's a long story, and it involves your friend, Largo.
And Bond wants to look really cool when giving her the bad news. He wants her to help him find out if the bombs are on Largo's ship, the Disco Volante. All it will take to convince her is Bond doing something badass.
He must have followed us.
Perfect! She's in! I have the feeling we're near the climax. Because there will definitely be more diving. I do love that Bond sneaks into the boat with the other divers. Sometimes the most simple plan is also the best. Of course the bombs are underwater. We should have known this. This is going to be very difficult to beat Largo's men. Underwater levels are always the hardest to beat. Still, he's got Domino on the inside, and she's been captured. He's gonna torture her with great cinematography.
You've given me much pleasure, Domino.
Just saying, it's a much better shot film than Operation Kid Brother. As we move away from the water, we now feature people in the sky. It's a welcome change of pace and still beautifully shot. But damn, they're back in the water again. Guess that's where we're gonna have the shootout. And this scene is why Connery will always be the best Aquaman. The heroes are nice enough to have different suits so we know who is fighting who. See, those bad guys are getting fucked up. Even the sea creatures are like, we're getting the hell out of here. Let them fight amongst themselves. When he faces off against Largo, I like that this is one of the only movies that shows you can't see clearly underwater. Back on board the ship, they hit the button that says, dude, bolt, 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 they're onto us! God damn, does Terrence Young know how to shoot an explosion-heavy action sequence. Say what you will about Inchon, it was terrible, but it did blow up shit good. Hell, after Bond fights off the rest of the henchmen and causes the boat to go wildly out of control, you know it will lead to one hell of an explosion. After the awesome part where it's Domino who saves Bond. But Bond still kills with a good line.
I'm glad I killed him.
You're glad.
Nice. Don't forget about that explosion, though. And there it is. Seriously, an explosion so forceful, it actually did shatter glass miles away. Anyway, she has the same dubbed voice as Ursula Andress. Might as well end this movie out to sea as well. Before being launched into outer space. And then they died from running into a bunch of birds. The end. It goes without saying, but Thunderball was not only a colossal hit, but adjusted for inflation, it was the most successful James Bond movie till Skyfall. The reviews were and still are overwhelmingly positive, with some still criticizing the length and the frequent underwater scenes, which yeah, go on long, and there's a lot in the movie that could be trimmed. But damn, I can't deny that every single one of these scenes are gorgeous. Same with the rest of the cinematography that really makes this feel like a true spy epic. The movie is funny, there's so many cool Bond moments. Largo is not only a great villain, but was so influential, it's hard to parody a Bond villain without sharks. Of the Connery era, Goldfinger was the one I watched the most, but this one was definitely second. They might not have said it in the credits, but James Bond will return in James Bond versus Dr. Loomis in You Only Live Twice, but I shot him 6 times!
I know.